I'm going to give the Turk of the Week, and I suspect that this will stand alone. I'm going to give it to the NFL referees.
Ridiculous.
Because you know what? This is the NFL's fault. It's not those referees' fault. These games are largely unwatchable. There was a great game last night that the referees totally mangled that became watchable in part because of their mangling. But I have never seen more 3rd and 14s get converted because of illegal contact downfield.
Which wasn't illegal contact.
Yeah, or it was illegal contact, like in the Ravens game there at the end when they gave it to the Ravens. That was a penalty. They were pulling. They were unquestioned.
That's holding.
But holding is also illegal contact. His hands were on him past 5 yards. He was also holding him. Chris Collinsworth was obsessed over the distinction. It was both penalties. He had him 10 yards downfield, contact with him. He pulled him, holding, contact, whatever it was. It's a 5-yard penalty.
That was Bernard Pollard, wasn't it?
That was Bernard Pollard.
That was on the interception. That was called back.
That was on the pick, the Patriots pick that was called back, right?
No, the Ravens.
The Ravens pick that was called back, right? So as it turned out, it didn't matter. The Ravens won the game.
Barely.
But that was barely, we think. Probably won the game.
By the way, that play isn't reviewable?
No, because it went above the upright. What I like
How do they think it should be reviewable?
What's great about that rule in the NFL is so the Ravens kick a field goal as time expires, and it's hard to tell whether it was good. And
at first.
What you can review is inside the uprights. Well, excuse me, motherfuckers, who needs to review that? I mean, how do you miss that call? If it goes through the uprights, I'm pretty sure.
So we should review every extra point.
We can tell when it goes through the uprights. Yeah. The issue is outside. So anyway,
it's like a home run in baseball. Like you have to review it.
But let's think. It looked good. Like if you had to guess, it looked good.
It looked good, but by the narrowest of margins that I would want to review it.
And you would think on the big Sunday night, Monday night games, they would put cameras at the base.
So your Turk of the Week are the replacement refs.
These guys are refereeing in like the Potomac Valley Athletic Conference. Like these are not guys. These aren't SEC referees. These aren't Big 12.
I thought some of them were.
They're literally out of their league.
They are literally out of their league. So it is. The fact of the matter is, so many of these calls I think were right at the end of the games because the defensive players, I think over the first 2 weeks of the season, were realizing we can abuse these. We can hit these. These guys have lost control of the game. And we're going to make much more contact than we normally do. And they called some of them. But, you know, like the end of that Lions-Titans game was crazy, just call after call after call. As a fan, you're giving the fans a bad product. Nobody wants to see when you stop.
But they're not going to stop watching. That's the thing. That's why the NFL has us by the balls, because we're not going to just not watch because of the refs every week.
But long term, it will affect our enjoyment of the game. Long term, this would cost them money. Long term, some people would stop watching. Some people would stop caring. I'm emblematic of some other people, not most other people. And I have trouble watching the NFL right now. The NFL is to blame here. I feel bad for these referees. Bill Belichick's grabbing the guy, which will be overstated at the end of the Ravens-Patriots game.
It's already overstated.
Yeah.
By the way, over under, let's say 65,000.
For what he gets fined? That's a good number.
I was thinking 50, but you have to think it'll be a little more than 50.
Right, so I'll go with, I'm going to take the over, because he's a coach.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him $100,000.
Really?
Yeah. It's probably fair. Either way, it's not that big a deal. But it's a rough go watching these games, and I'm frustrated by it, and I think other people are frustrated by it. And it's not these officials' fault. And some of the players who are ripping these officials, I regret that the players are doing that. These guys are, again,
Brandon Spikes.
These guys are like, they were refereeing games at Crenshaw High this last season, and now they're in the NFL.
You're really discrediting them right now.
They were not in major conferences. They came.
No, they were Division III.
Yeah. So
they're not even on the Appalachian State field.
Yeah. This is like playing Major League Baseball with guys playing, rookie ball. It's not. They're not ready for it. The NFL is to blame for this, and the NFL should pay these guys. And by the way, the NFL should pay these guys a lot of money because they are
really good at their job.
They're really good at their job, and I don't want to make these guys susceptible to gamblers. So I think these guys need to have NFL referees should not have other jobs. Should not need other jobs. This should be enough, and they're going to have to pay them. And the league makes enough money, and they're a critical part of the game.
Did you hear what one of the replacement referees said last week to LaShawn McCoy on the field?
What'd he say?
He said, "Oh, come on, McCoy, I need you for my fantasy team." Joking or not joking, that's fucked up.
Is that true? I don't believe that story.
He said it live on the radio.
Is that right?
McCoy did, yeah. Philadelphia Sports Radio. He said it live.
That guy must have had like an early high pick in the draft.
Yeah. At least number 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'd love to have LaShawn McCoy. No, and the other referee is the Saints fan. I mean, it's crazy. What are they doing with these guys? But anyway.
It's embarrassing.